There it is, the one that started it, or the one that had it blow up. This is the ridiculous, massive collection of Mandela effects. For me, myself, not 100%ers for all of them, by any means. Probably got a good 10 that are 100%ers. And a lot of these, even if I'm not 100%, I'm like, well, it does look different, or it does seem strange. And some of them I do think, hey, maybe that one could be people misremembering, but it also could be them experiencing it in another timeline that I didn't experience it in. I mean, it's that simple. Even if I think, oh, that's, I love that blood red stripe there is on the bottom. So, and this is beginning a series of videos that I've done since 2015. No, I'm sorry, the experiences were in 2015, most of them. And I started recording them in 2016 and putting them on YouTube. And this series here is from the beginning. And, you know, what you're going to notice is things change. If you watch it from the beginning and go straight through them, you'll see how my views change. You'll see the progression of how I grew and how I became who I am now. And I think that could be important for people. The reason I started putting out the videos in the beginning was for myself to try and understand what was going on. And I was documenting everything. This may help you, and I hope it does.
Then in 2016, the Earth shifted.
So what you're about to see is my first 8 videos. It's going to end up being practically in the same format I have going on now because of the timing. There was no reason I did short videos. I just felt that people's attention would be easier spent with that information, and I tried to make it just like one specific thing, and I just decided to do it longer. So this is my first 8 videos, and it's strange because I've watched them, and you know, sometimes I feel like, wow, that's not me, you know, or I don't remember saying that, and wow, good point. But go ahead, enjoy. I'm definitely going to do the next 8 to 10 or so, and then depending on the response, I'll see if I continue doing that. Enjoy.
Beautiful Gulf of Mexico. I have a lot to say. I'm going to try and get it all in one video. I came across some information that people claiming the Earth was flat about a year ago. I don't think I gave it a second thought. I blew it right off. Got into the Mandela effect, and I experienced some of those changes. I thought it was quite amazing. While looking at that material, I accidentally clicked on a flat earth video that was someone who has been into the flat earth for so long. They were very sarcastic about it, and that was not the way they were going to pull me in. So I blew it off again. Went back to the Mandela effect, and at the time I was actually studying some Egyptian beliefs. Say the stars were souls. One day checking out Mandela, I accidentally clicked on a flat earth video that was for beginners. I thought I'd check it out. It had something to do with the NASA moon landings being faked. And there was a lot of things I could understand there. It wasn't all the numbers that I couldn't wrap my head around. So I went ahead and got into that. And I checked out flat earth and what they were talking about. And for my questions, you know, are we in a dome? Is there more land on the other side of the South Pole? Is there a South Pole? Are we not in a dome? Is it concave? What's going on with the stars and the sun if we are in a dome? I looked at the Bible verses they were talking about, and it kind of pushed me towards the dome. And I'm not trying to limit God, but God is a lot closer to me now. I'm a lot closer to God than I ever was. So I'm not limiting God by saying we're in a dome at all. But one night, reading the material and looking at the videos, I just realized it hit me. We are not on a globe. And it hit me strong. And I walked outside to look at the stars, and I saw 2 gold orbs above my head, about the size of cars, transparent, but you couldn't see through them. It was quite amazing. Stored that information, went back to my videos. A few nights later, I went outside to look at the stars again, and about 7 or 8 of them jumped out at me, brighter and dimmer, bigger and smaller. It was the most incredible 2.5 minutes of my life. More answers to questions I didn't even know I had yet. But putting all that together, and then watching a video where a guy was zooming in on stars and they looked exactly like the orbs I saw, did it for me. You know, for me, now, the stars are intelligent beings that revolve around the flat Earth plane, helping us create this illusion for individuality, consciousness, and time. I mean, we did this to ourselves. In my opinion, we deceived ourselves so we can experience this. There's no one to blame. That's my opinion. That's my take on flat Earth. And this is a blessing that we're experiencing. And this is an awakening, not a movement. Some people don't want to be woken up. Some people don't agree with the flat Earth material. That's fine. I'm not sure why they're watching it if they don't agree with it. But do your own research. Find your own truths. Find your own beliefs. Of course, beliefs and truth change, right? But I guess my point is there's no one to blame but yourself if you want to blame somebody or if you're angry. Because we manipulated ourselves. We deceived ourselves to experience this, and it is a blessing. I got into all the flat Earth material from the Mandela Effect after totally ignoring all the flat Earth stuff I would see on YouTube. But the Mandela Effect changed my perception of reality, especially after having some of my own personal Mandela effects. But I believe in my first video I said something about placing blame, that you shouldn't place blame and just blame yourself or be angry with yourself because we manipulated ourselves to be here and chose to be here. Well, I don't think we should blame ourselves either. And we were born into the globe and we never really questioned it. Why would we? I never did. And so I don't think we should really place blame on anybody. We should just continue doing the research, finding the truth, and getting it out to people. But there are forces out there helping create this illusion, and I don't think they're going to give in. I mean, I've come to this conclusion with the experience I had with the stars. You know, if they are intelligent beings like I believe, are they lying to us? Well, no, they're not, because they're traveling around us. We were the ones that believed we were moving and making it look like something else. That we were moving and making it look like the stars were moving. Time-lapse photography shows that they're moving. were immovable. You know, the forces that are out there creating this, you know, if it wasn't for the duality and the polarity and the contrast, we wouldn't be able to experience physical reality. Which the veil is coming down for some people. Maybe all people eventually, but right now it just seems like it's some people, not everybody's seeing it. So what takes the veil down? Is it CERN? Is it death? Probably a combination of both. But I do believe we need to continue doing the research and getting the truth out there to people. But these are just my views. Other people have their own views, and I respect that. I think if you want to get into the flat earth and you're really not sure where to go, check out the beginner videos. It's like flat earth clues, introduction, hold on to your hat, the earth is flat. More veteran stuff is like Jeranism, flat earth and other hot potatoes, globe busters. They're good to watch if you want to see people or talk to people that are like-minded, that already know that the earth is flat. But like I said, don't even blame yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, because I was for a while. You don't really want to do that. There's no one to blame at all. There are a bunch of different factors going into creating this reality for the reasons I've explained before, that I believe: consciousness, individuality, time, physical reality. But keep up the work, people, and keep putting the videos out there. Get the truth out. You know, when I first heard about this idea about liquid space or water being on the other side of the dome, it made perfect sense to me. I really like the idea, separating the waters above from the waters below. It just seems to make sense. On that and the stars, you know, I always used to assume that the stars were on the inside of the dome. From pictures, videos, and things I've read, that's what I always seem to take in. Now I'm thinking, with this liquid space theory and all the things that are coming together with that it's possible that the stars are in their own orbit or their own current going around the flat earth plane. And a current-like formation. It's not to say that they couldn't exist on both sides of the atmosphere, but I'm thinking that, you know, the closer you get to what we used to call space, the denser it gets into a liquid form. And maybe each, the sun and the stars and the moon, could possibly be in their own current. Just some thoughts. I found the Mandela effect. I realized that. Mandela effect ended up being a stepping stone for me. I mean, even now I'm still experiencing Mandela effects, where with Prince's death and his songs, one of them supposedly changed from "Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called life." And I played it in here the other day, and it did in fact change to "Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life." I've been wondering about these changes in words and songs. Are they clues to what's going on? Celebrate life, to get through life. Pretend to pray, began to pray. Another brick in the wall, another break in the wall. You know, these seem to me like they could be clues to what's going on. But the Mandela effect for me ended up being a stepping stone to the flat earth. And discovering that and the changes that I'm going through with that, I mean, you know, all this information comes in. I think it's fantastic. All these people are getting into it and really researching. And it's been about a year now for me of just looking at videos and listening to what other people have to say about it. And, you know, plus the experiences I had, because I had some big questions and I got some big answers. Still not sure what those answers were, but you know, to me, the stars, you know, could be civilizations of beings. I mean, each different groups of alien beings. I don't know how else to word it. You know, if they're in other dimensions, they're not going to be physical, so they would be alien. But my ideas, you know, stem from that. That, you know, the orbs that I saw were just possibly a small number of those beings, those intelligent beings that are traveling around this liquid plasma water it's above our physical plane. Just more ideas, that's all they are, and I'm sure they'll change as well. They'll change again. But for me, the Mandela effect showed me things changed, and that became a stepping stone to Flat Earth. Flat Earth, you know, this is the greatest last conspiracy, but probably not. You know, that's probably going to end up being a stepping stone as well to something even more greater. I think at that point it would be up to each individual. You know, it's going to be an individual experience for each individual person to get to the next level on top of that. And these are just ideas. Because the truth of the matter is, it's all about what's in your perception. It's about what's in front of you. You know, that's what life is. And how you interact with physical reality or whatever reality we're going through now. You know, I think it's incredibly amazing. I think there's more changes coming. I think it'll open up more eyes. I think the point of this video was it's about what's in your perception. That's always the point of my videos. It's Mandela Effect and Flat Earth were stepping stones. I mean, I don't know about the Flat Earth yet because it's still there for me, but I'm pretty sure this is a stepping stone to something else. You know, what is it? Not a clue. You know, what shape is the Earth? I have no idea. You know, I like to speculate. I like to have fun like everybody else. You know, is it square? Is it circle? Are we even supposed to know? You know, what are our consciousnesses conscious of each single dimension that's going on? It gets mind-boggling. I mean, it's amazing. But everything changes. And everything seems to be a stepping stone. Once you think you got the answer, something else comes along. I mean, something else will jump right in your face and say, no, you don't have the answer yet. You know, so do you keep searching? Do you live life? I'm happier. I'm enjoying my life more and more every day now, but just knowing all this stuff, I think it's fantastic. Am I a happier person? Yes. Am I happier knowing that, you know, the Earth is not a globe? Yes. Am I happier knowing that physical reality changes right in front of us? Yeah, I think that's incredible. You know, but what do you do with it? Well, I'm starting to live my life a lot differently now. What do I do with it? I'm just kind of going with the flow. You know, when I see something, if there's something I'm afraid to do, I go ahead and do it. If there's something I don't want to do, I go ahead and do it. You know, I'm looking for just people talking about certain things. They may say something that'll spark an idea in my head, so I'll go try this, try that. You know, I've gotten out of a job in a big corporation, and I'm looking, you know, I'm getting little jobs here and there, and I'm taking good care of myself, and I'm happier. I think everything's getting better, changing. You know, everything does change, and everything seems to be a stepping stone. And I think this is fantastic. Have a great day. Good morning. I've noticed the Flat Earth community awakening has become very cliquey. I think it'd be great if we could all be one big happy family, but it's just not going to happen that way. And it's a good thing that it's not going to happen that way, because some people are going to resonate with anger, some people are going to resonate with sarcasm, some people are going to resonate with happy stuff, and some people are going to resonate with all rainbows and unicorns. I mean, but it's important to let people know this information is important. I mean, we can all agree that the Earth is not a globe, we don't spin, and we've been deceived. It is serious information. But everybody's going to come into this serious information at their own pace. This is going to be an individual thing. As much as it's fantastic that people are, getting into groups and talking with like-minded people. That's a great thing. We need that. We also need to understand everybody's going to come into this information in their own way. Flat Earth channels fighting with other flat Earth channels and pointing fingers is just going to create more separation. I say get the information that you believe is real, is important, get it out there and let it go. Let everybody else do their own thing because they're reaching people at their own pace. If you're new into the flat Earth material, my only advice is to watch as many videos as you can from as many different people and discern the information for yourself. I'd say try not to join any groups, but because you're going to run into something that you don't agree with eventually. It's going to happen. And that's what they want. The people in control, the people that have deceived us, want separation, and they're going to do whatever they can to cause separation. And that means they're going to try and cause us to fight amongst each other, and we really don't need to do that. We just need to reach as many people as we can and let them discern the information on their own. He says, yeah, the guy that died. I said, well, he's not dead. What are you talking about? I said, I'll look it up when I get off the phone with you. It's this thing I've been checking out, the Mandela Effect. I said, I was telling him about it, and he said, that sounds like a movie I just saw. So what was the name of it? He says, I can't remember. But this girl was feeding her dead father spaghetti, and it was like he wasn't really dead. And I said, I'll find out the name of it. I'll check it out. He goes, listen, I got to go. I said, I'll talk to you later. So the next day, I go out, pick up some movies, come home, throw the first movie in, and there's this woman feeding her dead father spaghetti. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, how cool. I called the guy up. I said, that movie you were telling me about, I picked it up. What movie? I said, the one with the girl feeding her dead father spaghetti. It's called Proof. What are you talking about? I was busy in Starbucks yesterday. I didn't talk to you. I said, oh my God, yes you did. No, I'm telling you, there's no way. I didn't pick up the phone. I shut my phone off and everything. I said, well, that was cool. That was pretty interesting. So that didn't happen. This is not somebody that would mess around with me by any means. They don't really believe the stuff that's going on. That's fine. So that was the other one. A couple other experiences. I don't know what category to put them under. At the same time, so it was the same time, because two of the other movies, one was Prometheus. I'd never seen it before. Wanted to see it ever since it came out. I knew the entire plot. I knew all the characters in it. I knew what was going to happen before it happened. I mean, that was kind of weird because I kept thinking, when did I see this? I must have seen it. But I know for a fact I didn't. It was something that I always thought I'd go ahead and grab and check out for like 10 years. And no, I never seen it. And I was watching Batman Begins, and some of the characters were actually, 3 of them in particular, looked directly at me through the screen, which was very interesting. This was after the Orbs and the Star experience, which with the stars, I don't know, it's all the experiences just amazing that I've been having. I had to rethink my last video. I didn't like the way it came out. The message I think was there, but anyway, there's so much drama on YouTube within the flat Earth community that, you know, it's like watching a soap opera. It's like watching TV. I mean, it's just a little silly. It's a little ridiculous. For something as massive as discovering that we're not a ball hurling through space at mind-blowing speeds, and to have this happen, you know, it's just, it doesn't matter. We still don't live on a globe. The Earth's still flattish, or whatever you want to call it. You know, it doesn't matter about the drama. You You know, I think we need to be a little more serious about it, and I think something needs to be done. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are crying for, and that's the truth. Well, you got to start with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to start. You got to peel away the layers. You know, I mean, I could tell you what I've done. It doesn't matter. You know, I've gotten rid of things that don't serve me. That includes people. I mean, that includes jobs, the way of I was living, habits. I mean, you know, I've changed the way I'm eating. You know, I like, you know, I don't even want to get into this, but you know, about the thing about not eating meat, you got to understand, you're not eating meat not because you love animals. It's not about that. I mean, it can be, that's fine, but it's about the energy that, you know, when this animal is bred to be fed, the horrible things it goes through, that energy is in that animal, and you put that energy in your body, and now you wonder why you feel like crap. That's why. It's more about the energy. That's why you're not eating meat. That would be a main reason, at least for me. I mean, that's for me. You know, the lifestyle I was living, the car I had, I don't need those things. You know, it's about, but start with yourself. If you want to do something, if you're looking for something to do for the flat earth, look, do for yourself. Live by example. You know, when you go out and talk to people, if they respond, great. If they don't, move on. But you know, no matter what goes on YouTube, even though that seems to be the biggest outlet for flat earth, at least from my perspective, the drama doesn't matter. The earth is still a globe. It's still not a globe. We've been lied to. You know, and you're right. We should be doing something about it. I'd like to think it can be done peacefully, gradually. Keep getting the message out there. The more people to know about it, you know, something's bound to give. We can do it peacefully. Start with yourself. If that's, you know, if you're looking for that, start with yourself. But no matter how much drama is on YouTube about it, it's still not a globe. So I do these videos mainly for myself. Hopefully I'll put out some information that'll help somebody, or maybe trigger something in somebody else. They can come up with something that's even better. But for me today, I've noticed this before. The flat earth is bigger on YouTube than the Mandela effect. And I'm not sure I understand why. Because for me, the flat earth was us physically being lied to about life and our planet and what life is. But the Mandela effect is proof. At least if you believe your memory, if you trust your memory, and the Mandela effect is proof that physical life, physical reality is not what we think. The Mandela effect could actually be giving us clues or messages to what's going on, whereas flat earth is just going to be a debate. I mean, I'm convinced it's not a globe. I'm convinced just because they keep reinforcing it. They keep shoving it down my throat. NASA has just announced that they found 1,248 more planets. So this way, when we destroy the Earth, we can just go to another planet and it ain't a big deal. That's all they're doing, is reinforcing the globe with that. With flat earth, it's just going to be constant debates and constant proof that people that don't understand that proof are just going to blow off. You know, the Mandela effect, or what I like to call the amalgamation, observing amalgamating dimensions. Yeah, I think there's more than one. I think there are multiple dimensions coming together. Now, this is interesting. I am looking at the moon, and there's no way it could be lit up the way it is. I don't know if this camera's going to pick all that up, but the moon's out there. I don't know if that's going to pick up the moon. But from that angle, it should be lit up a lot more. You know, with the flat earth and with them shoving the globe down our throats, who cares? Once everybody starts to understand that, it's not going to matter what they say. You know, but my physical proof is my memory, and I know things have changed. Labatt's is now Labatt. They keep taking the S off of things. The universe, the Mandela Effect, God, creation, keeps making things singular. And in the past, or not as important, we're trying to get through life rather than celebrate life. Life was a box of chocolates, or, you know, instead of is. All the S's coming off of products makes things singular. So it's about what's within, not about the 1,248 planets that NASA has come across, or they say they come across. Singular. It's about what's in your perception, what you see and what you feel, what you can touch. It's about your own personal life experience. It's about the way you treat people. Treat them like you want to be treated. Because it's about what's in your perception. If you continually watch the news, if you continually watch the debates or science fiction or whatever you're feeding your mind is what your life's going to end up being. That's what you're creating. It's getting windy, and I think I said all I gotta say. I'm tired of walking around here. There's no oxygen, or very little. And that moon just looks bigger too. But anyway, I guess the point was, one of the points anyway, I really felt like the Mandela Effect should have blown up bigger than Flat Earth, because I think Flat Earth is inside the Mandela Effect, whereas the Mandela Effect is not inside Flat Earth. Does that make sense? Alright, peace. This is the Atlantic Ocean. Looks flat out here too. But it doesn't really matter. It's about perception. It's about what's in your perception. That's how we should be living our life. I know it's a bit new agey, but we create our own reality. So whatever you feed your mind, whatever you're constantly giving your attention to, that's what you're going to experience. That's the plain, simple fact of it. It's not about whether it's round or triangle or flat. It's about what's in your perception and how you live your life and how you create it. And the powers that shouldn't be know this, and they don't want you creating your own personal reality. They want you to ask them for help. Let Father Government take care of everything. That's what we've come to. And they keep reinforcing that. I heard on a TV show the other day, the first line I heard, I was only walking by the TV, I wasn't actually watching it, but the guy said, "It's as obvious as the globe spinning." I thought, wow, what a joke. I just couldn't help but continue to laugh and walk away from it. But it's all about your perception. There is something up with the circles, you know, to say the earth is not round. Well, you don't know that. Round and globe are two different things. But get rid of the negativity in your life, no matter what it takes. And just project positive thinking, beliefs, your perception. Believe it with your heart. So that's what it's about. And I haven't got all the answers, and I'm still checking it out, and I do believe within my heart that I'll come up with an answer, at the very least for myself, that I'll be able to create what I want in my life. And I'm doing it now, and it's happening now. And I see it, and I feel it, and I know it. The truth is, all we know is it's not a globe, and we've been lied to. Do you want to go further than that and find out why, figure out why? It's just going to be a matter of perception. They're creating separation and negativity within the flat earth movement or awakening because there's so many other beliefs on top of that. Okay, well, we know the earth's not a globe, so what is it? Is it domed? Is it round? Is it square, triangle? Is there more land? You know, I'm starting to think there's more land and it's a domed, because this could very well be the only physical reality in creation at this time, even though I'm under the impression everything's happening at once. But it is beautiful. So I have this idea. I first want to explain my idea on what I think is going on, or at least partially. Dimensions are layered on top of each other, and then you have timelines shooting out from there, and I'm sure it's a lot more complicated than that. But I see a lot of people noticing the veil coming down, and I myself have definitely seen it. And I think the Mandela effect is part of that. I think noticing the changes in history is part of that. I think the information that we're starting to come across, knowing that the earth is not a globe, and say it's not a globe. Don't say it's not round, because it can be round and flat. Say a globe if you mean a globe. Dinosaurs probably never existing. And we watch these videos, and on the right hand side we have these videos that to me are just fear-mongering. It says must see, so we click on it because 50,000 people looked at it in the last 5 minutes, so we click on it and check it out. And it's all collect your guns and money and food and gold and silver and water, because that's, you know, we need to protect ourselves and whatever hogwash they're selling. For me, that's happened already in another timeline, and I shifted out of it. It happened years ago. You know, you see that stuff on YouTube every year. It's the same stuff. You know, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen for some people. It may. If you're feeding your mind that stuff, you can almost count on it if you really believe it. You know, I think as far as just shifting out of places, you know, I remember studying Yellowstone National Park and the volcano out there, and they kept saying it was volatile and could erupt any day. I studied it for 2 weeks. There's no history on my YouTube channel at all of me watching that. Did I just shift out of it when it happened? Did it go off and there was a mass shift? You know, I could see that happening with all these people noticing changes all at the same time. But that being said, you know, if you're going to feed your mind that stuff, that's what you're going to get. If you're feeding your mind the news, even if you think you're entertaining yourself and you know it's fake, so you're going to watch it anyway because you know it's all an act, you're not doing yourself any favors. Now you're watching the news, right? News, the word news. Now I got this from an interview from, it was Crows 777 and some other guy, I think his name was Dave. I don't know which one of them said it, but they said the word news is not derivative from anything. It's just a word, and what it actually symbolizes is north, east, west, and south. And they just pull you in every direction. I thought that was brilliant. So what a great way to hide it. You know, that's what they're doing with the news. They're pulling you in every direction. So instead of watching all this fear-mongering stuff, put yourself in a good place, believe it and feel it, and the next time there's a shift, you shift away from that stuff to the point where we won't even see it on YouTube. That'll be the big joke. Not people that think the earth is flat. But could it be that simple? Could it be that simple that we just shift right out? I came out here to discuss distractions and how human beings, physical, we're here experiencing physical reality, whether we chose to be here or we're manipulated to be here, whatever the case may be. We're experiencing it, and everything seems to be a distraction. No matter what I'm doing, it's a distraction. To me, if I'm into the Mandela effect, it's a distraction. If I get into flat earth, it's a distraction. We're distracted by these things. That's one of the things I've been distracted by. I'm always distracted by baseball. At least I used to be. I used to love my baseball. Go check different parks. Look at the people, enjoy the game. Now I could care less who wins or who loses. If I go, it's to be sociable or to look at the other people and try and figure out if they're actually really here. Are they just in their own little dimensional pockets experiencing their reality? I'm not interacting with them, so I really don't know. If I bump into them, does that shift somebody into another dimension? I'm getting way too deep on this one. But it's the ether that I wanted to get into. That's what distracted me first, because I wanted to discuss distractions, and it's gotten me to realize that a lot of the things I've been thinking about and discussing online, other people are discussing too. And these ideas seem to be fresh. They seem to be new. Jazz Sinclair and Lori Gale been mentioning the ether. I've been thinking about that. And we all coming up with that at the same time. Sean Indico. I was watching some videos of his. And then I went ahead and sometime later did a video of my own. Went back to his videos. I think it was the 1.6. I'll link it. He's mentioning the same thing I was mentioning in my last video. He put his video up first. And then I put mine up, and then I noticed his. We're talking about the same ideas. So is this stuff coming from the ethers? One of the other ideas that I've been thinking about that I really didn't want to talk about was the Bible. And why is everybody running to the Bible for answers on this stuff when we see that through the Mandela effect, history is being changed. History has been manipulated, all for control. We've been lied to. History may not even be real. How do we know? We weren't there. We don't know. We've been lied to on that stuff. So I'm all into trying to, that's one of the things I did not want to discuss. The whole idea that why are people running to the Bible when they see that even the Bible's been manipulated and changed through the Mandela effect. I have my proof there. I don't need to prove it to anybody else. So what do? I go ahead and get on YouTube, and I find Mechanics of the Fourth Wall discussing the Bible, discussing how it could have been written by Satan. Jaron came out with incredible concepts and ideas in the first 15 minutes, which I'll admit that's all I've watched so far, maybe 15-20 minutes. And I really want to get back to that because there were some terrific ideas on there. But that's the thing, I was thinking of some of those things. Are we all getting this from this ether that Jazz has brought up and saying, is it alive, and can we communicate with it, and can we, I don't like using the word manipulate, but can we manipulate it into our favor? Should we just shift? I'm going to be talking about some personal Mandela effects, and that's the thing, a lot of people don't think they're Mandela effects because nobody else has noticed them, just the one person. That doesn't mean it's not a Mandela effect. I've had a couple of things that happen that other people don't talk about or briefly touch on. And I'm going to be getting into that soon. Like Muhammad Ali just died. On MandelaEffect.com, people were already talking about him last year, remembering he already died. Back a few years ago. Elvis Presley, for me, I heard a song that I never heard before, and I said to a guy in work, I said, that sounds just like Elvis Presley. And he said, it is Elvis Presley, it's one of his biggest hits. He said it came out in 76, right before he died. 76, right before he died. I saw a documentary that said he died in 72 on stage. He had a heart attack in Las Vegas. They pulled him backstage and he died backstage. In this reality, he died in 77 in his bathroom of an overdose. I mean, that was the first time I experienced the Mandela effect, but I just blew it off as I looked at the documentary wrong or I misremembered. I mean, I just blew that off and forgot about it. This was in early 15, maybe late 14, that I had that conversation and heard that song. Still, never heard the song before and haven't heard it since. But supposedly it's one of his biggest hits. You know, for me, it didn't happen that way. There's a lot of people feel that they need to figure out the shape of the Earth plane, and I think that's a distraction. There's other things going on, such as the Mandela effect. There are things going on with time, possibly dreams, other realities. There are things that I wouldn't even know how to describe going on. These things, you know, lead me to the idea that life is not what we've been told. Coming into the truth about flat Earth, that's part of it. But getting stuck on that, I think it's a trap. I think that will eventually come to us. I think that information will eventually just come to us when we're ready for it or when we're supposed to get it. I think what's going on with these shifts or dimensions or whatever you want to call it, this phenomenon, you know, I said something in a video about those other dimensions being destroyed. I think more accurately what may be happening is part of you is coming into your consciousness. You're becoming more of who you are. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of with that. Things are more real now than when we were living in a three-dimensional plane or planet that, you know, everything is just set. It's not like that anymore, and we need to not fear that. We need to go through that. I think we're becoming more of who we are, and I think that's what's important. I think we need to see, you know, people mention the water and how that might be connected to the ether, and is it intelligent, and should we be looking at those things? I think those things are more important. We should be really investigating that stuff, so we can move through this without fear and become more of who we are. One of the other events that happened with me, I'm not sure what category to put it under. I walked into a cigar shop, bought a cigar. This was last October, might have been September, between September and October, when I was reading a lot on the Mandela effect and discovering flat Earth. I was still investigating all these things. And I already came across some Mandela effects on the site that I resonated with, that I agreed with. So anyway, I go into this cigar shop, buy a cigar, I sit down, and I'm watching a football game. It's the fourth quarter, and a commercial comes on. It's a Ford commercial. I look at this, and it looked so gaudy. The top of the F had a curly Q on it, instead of the center. You know, it was so gaudy, it was ugly, it covered most of the screen, and I see the curly Q in the middle all the time. I've noticed it before, and I think I noticed it before because I don't know that it was there at all at one point. It might just been a regular F. But anyway, I was used to seeing the small curly Q at this point, and it was on top. It wasn't in the middle. It was gross. It was gaudy. It just didn't look right at all. And immediately I grabbed my chair and I thought, oh wow, I wonder if this is one of those Mandela effects. I don't know if that was the case, because now when I was in there, and I didn't recall this until later, but when I was in there, the room was thick. I felt like everybody was just looking at me. You know, I wasn't being paranoid at the time at all, but when I left, you know, the only thing on my mind was to go look up online and find out if this curlicue existed. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked up new emblems, new logos, everything, nothing. I haven't seen it since either on top. You know, I've always seen it in the middle, but that's the thing. As soon as I came out of there, it didn't exist. I've never seen that commercial before. I do recall the score of the game. It was the same when I checked it after I left. You know, I don't know if that means anything or not, but that was one of the effects I had. I mean, did I go into another dimension and come out? You know, I don't know. I really don't know what happened, but something definitely happened. For me, it's always been J.C. Penney's with one E, possibly YS on the end of that. That's just one of the things I've noticed. That's been all over line. I've seen that. And as I did that, I came across Ruby Tuesdays. And the sign just says Ruby Tuesday. There is no S on the end of Ruby Tuesdays. There we go. Another Mandela effect for me. So I just walked through a mall and I took about 4 or 5 pictures. I'll leave them in here. I can't be absolutely sure about some of them, but they just look different, and others I'm absolutely positive about have changed or are different. I'll leave the pictures here. I'm not going to say anything, so if you want, you can comment below on what you remember. Okay, 90 degrees, and I'm going to go to a ball game just to see how many people aren't really there. I have a couple of clips I'm going to show you from videos I took of some friends talking about the Mandela effect. I think you'll like it. One, I'm going to actually have to do a whole video just on him. He kind of stole the camera. But I'm trying to get away from the Mandela effect. Not that I'm trying to get away from it. I mean, I see it out there. I see what's going on. Not a big deal. If something big happened, I'm sure I'd come out here. But I'm putting these stories out, things that I've noticed in the past, that I've noticed since last September, maybe further back, just for other people to look at. That's like not where I am. I kind of moved on. I'm talking with my buddy Steve. And Steve, how do you spell Chick-fil-A? How do you remember spelling Chick-fil-A?
C-H-I-C. Filet.
But
That's how I remember it.
We just saw a sign that said Chick, C-H-I-C-K.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Businesses change names all the time.
Yeah.
It keeps it original.
But
Keeps it fresh. It keeps it new.
But if you look back in history, it's always been spelled C-H-I-K. It's never been spelled C-I-C. C-H-I-C.
I don't know. I always remember C-H-I-C.
That's the Mandela effect.
And the mall, when I used to go to the mall, Chick-fil-A, C-H-I-C.
So what do you think of the Mandela effect? You think it's something happening?
I have no idea what the Mandela. The only Mandela I know is Nelson.
When did he die?
Some sometime a few years back.
Oh. Yeah, me and a lot of other people
I
recall him.
think he died 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Unless that was his evil twin, who knows? I know nothing about it.
So I'm here with my buddy Don. I just looked up TGI Fridays, and it does have an S on the end.
I remember being TGI Friday, or Thank God It's Friday.
Without an S, and that makes a lot more sense than Thank God It's Fridays.
And Thank God It's Fridays. That doesn't even sound right.
And so Ruby Tuesday, and Ruby Tuesday has no S.
Yeah, I remember Ruby Tuesdays with an S. See? Friday stole Tuesdays. S.
There's the explanation.
And I definitely remember Interview with a Vampire.
With a vampire.
Yeah, with a vampire.
And you never heard of a Berenstain Bear?
Nah, I knew it as Bearstein. I could be wrong.
On that, yeah, there's some things I won't swear to. There's some things that I will swear to.
But I did see that old TV Guide thing that actually had it spelled Steam in the TV Guide.
Oh, right, I've seen that too, yeah, online.
But not like they don't make mistakes too.
Yeah, a lot of them can be explained as mistakes or misremembering, but not all of them. So what do you think's happening with that?
Don't know. Don't care. Life's good.
Life's good. There's one that enjoys himself, right? Doesn't matter because life's good.
Life's good. Life is what you make it. I make it good. I make it great. I love life.
Doesn't matter that the earth is flat.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect me. Flat, round, triangle. My life's still great.
How do you think it doesn't affect you?
How does it affect me? My life was created then from this flat earth, and my life I love my life. So if I love my life on this flat earth, maybe making it round will mess me up.
So you do believe it's flat?
Nah, I mean,
You know,
I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Flat, round, in a dome, not in a dome. If it starts to affect me, then I'll think differently. But until then, life's great.
you said you watched Bashar on something with that? Because I always say it doesn't matter. What matters is what's in your perception. But it does affect me whether I want to believe it or not.
Right.
I mean,
But he said, use the word matters. It doesn't matter because it won't come into materialization unless you make it matter. You understand? So it doesn't matter. What matters is your perception.
I said that.
And if your perception is that it matters, then you're going to bring it into materialization. If your perception is that what matters is how you feel, then that's it. How you feel is what brings into materialization. So if you feel good, good things will be materialized around you. Good circumstances, good life. If you feel bad, watch your thinking.
Okay, and what happens if your consciousness is shifting into another dimension? You got to watch your feelings. Make sure you're feeling something good, so you shift. Like attracts like, right? I'm just trying to bring it a step further, but you're going to say that doesn't matter.
Well, you're shifting constantly. If you listen to Bashar, you change moment to moment
Now,
to moment.
all right, yeah, I've said that too.
Apparently,
But when
you're not getting what he's saying. If you understood that you're constantly shifting, you're constantly changing, and like he says, if things aren't constantly changing, then you would not be having this physical experience. You are creating your physical experience by constantly making things change. You understand?
Yeah.
So, yes, things change. if you're thinking you're shifting in dimensions, all right, things are changing. They're supposed to. Things change from moment to moment to moment. Now, what do you want the next moment to be? Well, my next moment I want to be good, great. That's why I love my life. All I think about are good things, happy things. Why? Be careful what you think about, because what you think about is what comes into your reality. If you understand that, you'd be a little worried about what you're thinking about.
Not even a little bit. See, I'm not worried about it at all. That's how I feel about it. I feel great about it.
All right.
But I'm not worried about it. So you don't have to worry about that being manifested in my
If you're
room.
not, if you ain't worried about what you're thinking about, then that's fine, because what you're thinking about is exactly what you're getting. So if you're thinking about the Earth being flat, guess what? The Earth is flat. That's simple. If you think that the Earth is round, guess what? The Earth is round. It doesn't matter.
No, I never say round. I always say globe. I think that's kind of important.
All right, round, globe, circular, triangular, oval.
Oblique, spheroid.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I think if you guys want him to get his own channel, I'm going to have to talk him into that.
Just listen to Bashar. He says it all.
Promoting Bashar. See, it's new agey, but I do listen to him sometimes, and
it's not new agey. It's simple. Listen to what he's got to say, and if you can contradict anything that he says, he never contradicts himself. If you don't agree with everything he says, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't disagree with what he's saying, because I can go back in my whole life and see my whole life unfold. Your life unfolds in front of you. Now go backwards. Think about what you were thinking about before every situation that happened in your life, and you'll actually realize, ah, shit, I actually created that situation. Oh, now that I know that I'm the creator, be careful about what you think about. So think about only happy and good things, and happy and good things will happen to you. Now, not saying that bad things won't happen to you, but it's how you deal with that particular situation. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
If you deal with it in a bad way, then you're going to get more of those situations. But if you deal with it in finding out how you can make it positive for yourself, then just more positive things happen to you. Simple. You know what? I don't mind delivering pizza and stuff like that there, right? But if only I had a job where, I don't know, maybe I just picked people up and they just gave me money and it was just easy every day, and I didn't have to punch a time clock, and, I just work when I want to work, not work when I want to work, yet make great money. And guess what? I was thinking about that while I was doing the other job, and here I am doing Uber. Well, did I create Uber? Well, in my mind, apparently I did, because it's exactly what I asked for. And it's funny, you get what you ask for. You constantly think about it, and guess what? It comes into materialization. It's crazy, I know. But I tell you, it works. I've done it all my life. I've gotten all my jobs that way. I've gotten my home that way.
Hate cutting you off, but I got a flight to catch.
Love my life. Thank you, Bashar. Now I understand.
And all this is real and happening with you because you believe it was Bashar's teachings that...
No, it was... I didn't even know about Bashar. I just learned about him. But he's making me realize now how I got everything that I got. I did it. You created. It's freaking great. It's easy. But knowing that you're the creator ahead of time, how about this? Think of only good, great things ahead of time, so that's all you get in your life. If you have a bad situation, think of the positiveness out of that situation. Deal with it differently. That's all. Simple. It's your choice. Life's a choice. Everything's a choice, for God's sake. But you're the one who makes the choice. Make the right choice. Make the happy choice. Make the good choice. Come on, man. Look, forget about Flat Earth for 3 days. Forget about Mandela for 3 days, and only listen to him for 3 days. See what happens.
What? All right, brother. Talk to you later. I had every intention of coming out here and having a reply to Don's rant and the Bashir material, but it didn't take me 3 days and staying away from the Mandela Effect and Flat Earth. He's going in a direction exactly where I was going. I've said a lot of the things he says. I've had those same ideas. I didn't articulate them as well, but a lot of the things he says is worth looking into. I'm going to link a bunch of things I watched that all correlate with the Mandela Effect and Flat Earth, and how it's true. You know, does it matter? You know, there might be aspects of it that matter. You know, people believe in God now. That didn't. God's closer to us. I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm going to take that like I take the Flat Earth Mandela Effect. It's all there, and I'm going to take my power back here. I've already done this. I've been through a lot of the things people are going through now. I did them last September, and now it's time, I guess, for me to understand a bigger picture. And in a bigger picture, a lot of people are, oh, NASA up in arms and we got to get our money back and they lied to us. There's no reason for the violence. There's no reason for it. If you want to shift in that direction, that's your prerogative. You can do that. That's not the direction I'm shifting in. No more fear mongering in any area at all. What's the point? Unless you need that kind of excitement in your life. The information, Bashir came out with, a lot of it made sense to me. A lot of it we're talking about with the ether and how life's malleable. And I mean, a lot of these things we're talking about anyway, in different language, in a different way, maybe even at a slower pace. Bashir's been talking about this since 2009 that I can tell, as far as the videos I've been watching. And he really breaks it down well. And I don't see that as a trap. Like I like to see a lot of things that are always traps. You're kind of doing it yourself. That's what he says. This is on you. Everybody has their own little dimensional, I was calling them dimensional pockets. I said that in one video in the back. You're the only one in that dimension. It's infinite. And I did on the Mandela Effects site, one of the categories was possible explanations, and I wrote a thing on how I understand the dimensions work. About how we're moving as far as pictures, in frames, and that's how we travel through that and experience movement and time, and how there's dimensional layers on time, and they're infinite. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about those things too, and that just blows my mind. I know I listen to him on occasion, and I could have picked that stuff up there, but it all just feels right to me. So I won't be, coming out as a reply to Don, because, he's right in a lot of aspects, and I've been saying that. It doesn't really matter. Flat Earth is a stepping stone. You understand things now, use it. The Mandela Effect, it's a stepping stone. You understand about time, and this is what our reality really is. Let's use it. So is it just a matter of shifting where you want to be? Shifting your consciousness into a dimension you'd rather live your life in? A happy life? Enjoying yourself? Is it that simple? I'm done with the fear mongering, no matter how negative it gets. I mean, no matter know, the videos and the stuff that's out there, even the ones that seem like they're putting out some good information, they come up with something that's fear-mongering, you know, and I'm done with that. It's time to shift into something more my liking. And I see it all around me. So I really do agree we need to take the information that we have learned from the flat earth material, the Mandela effect, any time information, any time experiences we've had, if we heard from other people. I mean, there's got to be a way to take this stuff and learn from it and use it. The ether's involved, you know. Other people have talked about this. Life Matrix, I'll link him down below. It's time to move on from that. Okay, we've all picked out Mandela effects. Now we have to move on. But we have new people coming in for the Mandela effect. So we're putting them things out. New people learning about the flat earth, we're putting those things out. I know there are people out there that don't believe the Mandela effect is real. That's fine. I have my proof that I know it's real. Something's real about it. I mean, what it is, you know, I don't know. Most of it's speculation. But as soon as I decided to pull away from the Mandela effect, I noticed a video from Sean Indico that's about JFK assassination and how many people were in the car when JFK was shot. For me, it's totally different. And this is a really big Mandela effect to me. I mean, but I studied it back in the 80s and 90s. So, you know, for me, I know how many people were in that car in another reality, or what I recall. I mean, it's, you know, it's something that's real to me. So, I mean, and I have other things that are real to me and things I haven't even spoken about. I know the Mandela effect's real. But I still believe it's a stepping stone, and we have to move on from it. Once you get over that shock and change your perception of what is actually going on, you can, you know, discover other things and move on from there. You know, finding this on Sean Indico's site, you know, it started to pull me back into the Mandela effect. And, you know, yeah, I'm going to pay a little more attention, but I need to go a little further than that. You know, like I said, Life Matrix has mentioned the same thing. There's something else. There's new people coming in, so they can see these videos and the old videos on flat earth and the Mandela effect and the time experiences people have been having. But for us, for me, you know, I do believe it's about me. It's an individual thing. We're all in our own little dimensional pockets. I said that in some other video, and that happened to be mentioned on Bashir's things. You know, I wonder, did I hear those things? Because I haven't really listened to him in a long time, but I've listened to him, Abraham, other people. They're all kind of saying the same kind of thing in different languages. So are we. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm investigating some other things that'll take me a step further. I'll keep you guys up to date. But in the meantime, I think a lot of that information, I'll link everything I can down here. There's any Bashir information that I link is directly related to flat earth, Mandela effect, or some kind of time, or living on earth. And the things he says are just, you know, were very striking to me. But I'm not promoting anybody. This is about me, and it's for me, and I hope it can help other people. But I'm not going to get pulled totally back into the Mandela effect or flat earth. I'm going to help people about it where I can, and I'm going to move on from there. So I called a young lady over who I know, and we had a discussion about the Mandela effect. And she noticed quite a few things that were different. She thought it was really strange. I explained to her some of the theories out there, and she just thought it was great. You know, we both started laughing, thinking, wow, this is great. There's nothing to fear. You know, but I went through the whole thing, and she started getting into how she believed, oh, the law of attraction probably has something to do with that. You know, your vibrations, and how, you know, whatever you're putting out, that's what you're going to get. So when there's a major shift, wherever your thoughts are, that's where you're going. And she really got into that. then I went ahead and tried to put her on camera, and this is what happened.
Keep that.
For me, even though I'm using the Mandela effect differently for me, the information on Flat Earth, the information I've come with other paranormal experiences, I'm using this as information, but I'm remembering some of the past experiences I had, and I do want to share them with some people if it may help them or they find it interesting. Something in particular for me was music. I was studying a group, and the members of the band came in the band and left the band a little bit differently after about 6 months of me studying them, and then changed back. It wasn't that significant. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I did know about the Mandela effect. It was Pink Floyd. And I noticed, I've seen on a video that they talk about how most of their album covers are flat planes. And one even has a stepping stool. If you turn it upside down, it looks like a stepping stool on top of a dome. So it's like they knew something. Dark Side of the Moon mentions, I don't know the verbatim on the lyrics, but it's something like, if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Found that interesting since their words have changed for me. I was listening to The Wall. The first side speaks to me as the Mandela effect. Memories, clinging to third dimensional reality, clawing for the thin ice. So that whole album, that whole side anyway, really spoke to me with that. I was listening to Another Brick in the Wall, and I heard them say break in the wall instead of brick in the wall. I listened to it again, same thing. The first time, on the whole side, the first time it would say it, it was brick, but every time after that, it was break. So I went ahead and wrote that on the Mandela Effects site, and I got a few replies, one from Fiona Broom, who has traveled from America to England and would understand the accent. She said it was disturbing that, yeah, they are saying break. And, I heard break. The next day I went and listened to it, and it said brick straight through. I just couldn't understand it. It sounded like a different recording. It was really upset me. The day after that, I was just listening to it again, and break came back. One time they said break every time, but ever since then I've heard it brick and then break straight through the rest of the half of the album. I find that extremely weird. I believe they're calling taking down the veil a break in the wall. But other music has affected me like that as well. For me, this song was always a Bob Dylan song. Stuck in the Middle with You. It's always been a Bob Dylan song for me. Until one day this group comes out of nowhere. People have heard of them. They know them. Steelers Wheel. That's the group who supposedly always has done it. For me, Cats in the Cradle was always sung by Cat Stevens. Now it's, can't recall the gentleman's name now. Somebody else that I've never heard of. There's a couple other music things that were posted on that site that I found very interesting. I'm going to post some links. One's a good link on Pink Floyd and a playlist that I put up for Flat Earth in music. And enjoy. I found an absolutely great video on explaining how to shift dimensions, certain vibrations. It's really detailed. I recommend watching the whole video, but just watch the first 10 minutes. You'll get a lot out of that. You'll probably want to continue watching the whole thing. And I found this because, I've taken the Mandela effect and I've seen that as, okay, history's changing, why? And I look into that, and I look into the time anomaly things that have been happening to me. And, it tells me physical reality is malleable. Things change. We can change our own history. if we really put our minds to it. You know, I believe that. I heard that on the video that I'm recommending. It really felt right. It really resonated with me. As far as flat Earth, you know, I discovered that life is not what we thought. We've been lied to, and it's different. You know, I understand we're not on a globe, and I understand the reasons we were lied to. I don't agree with them. It doesn't really matter. I don't believe it really matters what kind of surface we're on. I think it's more about what you do with it and where you're at and how you're living your life. And that's the thing. For me, flat Earth was the trigger. I mean, when I first got into this stuff, the first thing I found was the Mandela Effect. You think noticing history changing would be enough to change my perception, but that's what these things are showing us. These things are showing us that we can change our perception, and once our perception changes, that's when you start to notice other things. That's when things really start to happen. For me, it was the flat Earth. I got into the Mandela Effect. That didn't do it. When I realized that I couldn't prove one way or the other whether the Earth was a globe or was flat, and I changed my perception on it, I realized it just didn't matter. You know, but I knew it wasn't a globe. That hit me. That was my trigger. Everybody's going to have their own trigger. Different things are going to happen. And with the people that are stuck on being up in arms about being lied to about flat Earth, you're stuck in a trap. You're putting your energy in that. I'm going to read something here that speaks on that. When you try to justify where you are by pointing out the bad things, you are headed in the wrong direction. Reach for the thought that feels better and allow the natural well-being that is yours. Abraham Hicks. You know, that's how I feel about a lot of things. There's also something to be said about letting go when people are fighting against you about something. Resistance. There's a good video I'm going to link here, Bernadette Dickinson put out, that'll speak on that. I think that's fabulous, and it just lines right up with this. I recommend that, but I definitely recommend Bentonho Massaro's video that I'm linking first. You really want to take a look at that, at least for the first 10 minutes. That'll really explain a lot, and what I believe is going on in the direction I'm going to go. I'm going to start creating my life, and we'll see how it goes.
Momentum. You know, since the 80s, you know, I've been studying conspiracies and all kinds of things, so I kind of expected some kind of alien landing, you know, since the late 80s, 90s, whatever, and now I see how silly that was. Now I understand how ridiculous that would seem, but I've had such a momentum going on that I'm hoping the Orb experience was enough. I'm pretty sure any kind of alien invasion is going to be made up for a fear thing. I also think the false flags, what people call false flags, are they're getting bigger. You know, the small ones aren't putting people in fear like they were anymore, so now they're getting bigger. Kind of see that going on too. Also, back in 2006, I spoke with a psychic who was speaking to me about things I didn't understand at the time. He told me he was living in multiple dimensions, that we are multi-dimensional beings. And he was actually experiencing, I forget what the number was, 7 to 11 of them, something to that effect. At the same time, I'll have to talk to him again. I'll link him down there, as well as Benito Massaro and Bernadette Dickinson. But the Massaro information, you really want to watch the first 10-15 minutes of that for sure. I definitely recommend it. It really seems to explain a lot of what's happening. Look at that. That's something. Beautiful out here. Gorgeous. Saw a video where they were talking about how you run into people that absolutely will not turn. They will not budge. We live on a ball, and that's the end of it. To the point where they'll get angry, but not all the time. But there's things that you could say to them, and it just doesn't matter. I think we need to spread the news, spread the truth, and let them people be the way they're going to be. Just like religion. I mean, some religions. Look, everybody can believe what they want to believe. You're not harming anyone else. That's fantastic. I have no problem with people who are good in their religion. They're, you know, that it works for them. That's fantastic. Well, the same should go for, hey, if you're a globey or a flatty, it shouldn't matter. I ran into a guy, we were talking, he let me talk. I told him, you know, my points on basically how I couldn't prove it was a globe. He listened, and then I listened to him, and he told me that he saw the curvature, and, you know, and I, just talking to him about that, I made him think about it. But at the same time, he did not believe it's flat. He stayed on the globe, and, you know, we had a friendly conversation. You know, with the flat earth, it seems like there's going to be controversy no matter what. And I think we just got to go, you know, a step further, and let's not fall to that. Let's not, you know, fight. That's just going backwards. You know, it's funny with the Mandela effect, nobody's wrong. You know, you remember one thing, you forget something else, or you didn't recall, or you did recall. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's right. They were in their own, that certain dimension at that time when they remember certain things. You know, that's, I think we got to make a stand on this. Flat earthers have a unique opportunity here to, when you run into somebody, okay, yeah, the globe people come after you. Well, you can discern who the shills are and who aren't. But when somebody is that still believes in the ball, we have an opportunity to still befriend this person and, you know, get along. Let's all get along. I mean, it doesn't matter what they believe. You know, we can accept them for who they are, as they should accept us for who we are. I mean, if they're going to attack us, that's one thing, but we don't have to retaliate with force. That's all fear-based stuff, and quite frankly, it's ego. You know, with the whole flat earth, our feelings are hurt. Our ego is destroyed. We're like, what happened? Oh my God, we're so angry about that. Our inner children, our inner child is angry. You know, this is ego. We're angry. We're mad at this. We're upset. We got our feelings hurt because we don't live on a ball like we've been told. We need to grow up and get over that. You know, let's you know, we talk about the life we want and how happy we want everybody to be and everybody to live in peace. Well, let's do that, and let's show everybody how we can do that. No matter what flat earth map I pinpoint myself on, I'm in the same spot. I recently said on a video that I felt the Mandela effect and flat earth were stepping stones. I still feel that way, strongly. I also feel that flat earth is inside the Mandela effect, meaning that flat earth is part of the Mandela effect. Flat earth blew up. As far as the difference between the Mandela effect and flat earth was bigger. And that was because of all the information on YouTube, at least for me. There was more information on flat earth, which is good, than the Mandela effect. Mandela effect, a lot of people come out with examples and show us the changes, and we either agree with them or we don't. But which is bigger? Which should be bigger? Which should we be focused on? With the flat earth blowing up,
and getting really big and growing and getting bigger, and then with the drama that goes along with it. I think we should be focusing on the changes and the reason and what it is. See, to me, you know, I first came across the Mandela effect, and that brought me to Flat Earth, which really opened up my mind more than the Mandela effect. And I don't understand that, because the Mandela effect was more proof. There's more proof for me with the Mandela effect than there is Flat Earth, for my own mind, for what I can see, for what's going on. And something is going on, and that's where we need to keep our focus. You know, I like to call the Mandela effect the observation of amalgamating densities. I don't know if that's what's going on. I don't know if dimensions are coming together, or if we're shifting through dimensions, and maybe our consciousness is shifting dimensions. But I think we need to keep our focus on the idea that physical reality is not what we think. It's changing, and we're changing along with it. You know, I've noticed changes to myself. I've noticed changes to people around me. You know, where do we go from there? I mean, we could sit and battle about the earth being flat and wanting to fight people who are denying it and lying to us, and that's not going to get us anywhere either. You know, we could sit here and place blame all we want. We could sit here and attack NASA and the government and the military. That's going to get us nowhere as far as the truth. They have parts of the truth, and now we're starting to see it. No matter what flat earth map I pinpoint myself on, I'm in the same spot. I'm just going to record little bits and pieces of information and then mesh them all together. I don't know how else to do it, because I got all these ideas that I come up with and don't write them down. It's not, I don't have a pen and piece of paper on me. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in the Mandela effect. That's really not the point, and that's fine. You know, they're right when they say it's always been that way. They're right, because in this dimension, if my theory is correct, if the same theory as Benito Massaro kind of goes with, it's definitely right in line with that. If that's all what's happening as far as our consciousness is shifting into different dimensions, then yes, it's true. It always has been that way. But it's not faulty memory. It's not companies changing names and emblems and the title of their company. It's us shifting into a dimension where we're the ones that changed. Not, you know, it's not these things didn't change. They always were that way. Our consciousness shifted into another dimension. So anyway, we have all these groups of different flat earthers believing different things, and that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be yourself. You're going to figure this stuff out on your own, in your own time. Maybe not on your own. You could do it with groups, but in your own time. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, the fear mongers and they're, oh, we're up in arms, and you know, I was listening to a lady on one of these shows, these flat earth shows. She was talking about how she wants to sue NASA, and everybody should stop paying their taxes, and everybody should get up and sue NASA at the same time. And they explained to this lady that, you know, you're fighting the system with their system. It's not going to work. You know, it's their lawyers, so you're not going to sue anybody. And it doesn't matter what goes on with that, because I feel like the discovery of the flat earth and the supernatural things that are going on with the Mandela effect are showing us that there's another way. We don't have to do all this fear mongering and up in arms and, oh, we have to get rid of the government. You know, hey, look, I believe if you vote, you agree with the system. So I don't vote. I think I voted for Perot. He was the only person in
my entire life that I voted for, and I think that was because of an ex-wife. I wouldn't have voted then. But I mean, it's about the system. Well, I don't believe in the system. I don't put the system in my perception. I don't, I'm living my life. I'm living in the system. I don't have much of a choice at this point. I could be totally wrong. Maybe we do have to fight them. I don't agree though. That's what they want. That's what they programmed you to believe, that if you want something and somebody's keeping something from you, you have to fight them. Or if somebody lied to you, you have to fight them. It's nonsense. This, to me, the ability to shift dimensions, and I'm not saying I'm doing, I mean, I am doing it, we're all doing it, we're doing it unconsciously. But the ability, to do that and figure out how to do it and work with it, or just maybe let it happen, that's our way out. That's our way out of the fear-mongering and the up in arms, and there's going to be war and the New World Order, and stop. Find yourself a nice little community and eat organic. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. What resonates with you. What you feel good.
I've heard this comparison before, and I think it fits. Remember when you were a child and you first discovered that Santa Claus wasn't real? You discovered that the world wasn't magic, and you just grasped onto third dimensional reality. Be like everyone else. Get accepted by everyone else. Get a job. Do what you're supposed to do. The magic went away once you were told Santa Claus wasn't real. But compare that to discovering the Earth is not a globe. You should have those same feelings, if not worse. That's the comparison I see. It's the same thing. So your feelings are hurt. You're disturbed. I mean, that's upsetting. So what do you do about it? What did you do about it when you were a child? You got over it and did what was supposed to be accepted. So what do we do here? We discover that the world is magic and we were lied to. Once we get over being hurt and upset, this changes our perception of reality, and we know we can do something about it. We are at a learning stage, a growing stage, and it's where it's taken us. I don't know, I've been at this since September, so maybe it just seems easier to me now, or it just, I accept it from what I understand, from what I really feel is our consciousness is what is shifting. And your perception changes your consciousness to what you're going to perceive. When you shift, and it's a major shift, and you notice changes, you're changing bodies to another timeline to where different events happened, so your body formed that much differently. Or the organs are different. Something happened throughout history that our organs became different. We were, whatever, genetically altered in a different reality. There seems to be a way to control this, to be able to control our future and control our past and change our past to where we would jump into a timeline where things would change. You would think, for the better, for what you're looking for what you desire, for what you desire your life to be.
Well, I really like that Bentonho Massaro video on how he explains jumping dimensions and shifting dimensions, and I think he gives examples on how to be able to do it. So I'm going to link that. And also, you know, I've said this before, flat Earth, your feelings are hurt. Let's get over it. Let's move on. Let's do it peacefully. Let's change our perception and see what's going on out here so we can live on a beautiful planet, you know, that we know we can make. We know we can do this. That's where this is going.
So there are several different realities that are available to us at any given time. But the wave is a possibility, and how the observer affects the wave is to break it down into an atom, which is a physical reality. So it depends on the observer as to how the wave is broken down into an actual thing that's visible, that's logical, that's tangible.
So the observer has a lot to do with this.
Is the one who has the effect. So if you look at those scientific things that they did back in the day, where they watched the waves and how the waves behaved and how they didn't behave, and then they realized that when they observed and they didn't observe, the waves behaved in an actual way when they didn't observe, and when they did observe, like they behaved in a, how would I say it, in a uniform way when they weren't observed. And so they come back and look at the reports, and it was a uniform. The waves put things at the wall like in dots like this. But when someone was observing it, then the pattern became like not logical. They couldn't put uniformity to it. So it depended on whoever was observing it. They would see different things based on the observer's intention. It's all the same. Psychology, spirituality, science,
Quantum physics.
they're all saying the same thing in a different way, and sometimes you need to hear it one way and sometimes you need to hear it another. But it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Sometimes you believe in God, sometimes you think God sucks, and then you need to read a book on science and you're like, it's exactly what God is saying, you know what I mean? But everybody needs to hear it a little bit differently, but it's all the same. Several realities going on at the same time.
Right?
Yes,
You
there are.
can choose to be part of whichever reality it is that
How-
you are focusing on.
how do you
That's what I
choose?
was saying about the observer effect.
That's
So-
what we were going to get to. How do you choose?
It's because what you focus on. Because what you see is, or what you want to see, or what you believe that you're supposed to see is the thing that you see. But you have several different realities available to you at that time. So you could say something to me and I could be in the reality of you're a fucking cunt, you're a wanker and I want to fight you, or you could be in the reality of you're awesome dude, that was super fucking funny. You know, and it's that simple. It seems like a very 20-dimensional thing, but it's that simple. Like I can choose whichever reality I want at that moment. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
So it's your choice. It has more to do with just your emotions. You could just physically choose something,
Yeah.
and that would shift you right into another dimension.
into a different reality. I think reality and dimension, like dimension seems like another world, but reality is just like, it is another world, but it seems more logical and more human, more like it's a choice, you know what I mean? Where dimension seems to people like, do I need a spaceship? But reality is like, I can choose this reality or that reality. I can choose to believe what you're saying now, or I can choose to say, you're talking about the shite. You know what I'm saying?
She's going to have her own YouTube channel soon.
I had a great time, or I'll say I had a crap time, or whatever. Like, dimensions and reality seem so foreign to people, but when you break it down to their everyday lives, we were all in the same space. We all saw the same band. We all talked to the same man at the bar. But everybody's going to come back with a different perception based on how they broke down the wave of possibility into their reality, and that's the observer effect.
That's awesome.
When I spoke about the orbs in my first video, I left something out because I didn't want to sound like a nut. Go figure, huh? If you want the details on the orbs, it's in my first video. But what I didn't mention was I received impressions, about 5 of them. I can't even remember them all. I would be speculating on 3 of them. One of them was, it was for me to see, as far as the orbs go. But the impressions I was getting, I had a cigarette in my hand, and the first impression that came through was stop eating meat. And I looked down at my cigarette and thought to myself, well, what about these things? And they said, you need to get rid of anything that's not hurting you. We're not concerned with it. These weren't words. It was just it was like a paragraph. Boom. That's on the list, but who cares about that? Stop eating meat. It's the energy you're putting in your body. It's not, it's, yes, you don't want to be harm. You want to be loving to all animals, but it was more that what's happening to these animals that you're eating, that you're consuming. The energy is negative because of what's happening to them, and you're putting that energy in your body, and that's what you're going to give out. That was the whole point about not eating meat. If you eat meat, that's great. Whatever you do is fine. It's about you anyway. But this was for me. It was to stop eating meat. Interestingly enough, the first week I forgot bacon and pepperoni were meat. After I stopped that, about a week later, I was totally off of meat. I guess I went total vegan. Maybe not. I was still putting cream in my coffee and butter on my toast. So I guess I was just vegetarian for a few weeks, and that's when everything came to me. That's when everything kind of came around, and I really started to realize I couldn't prove the Earth was a globe. I realized I couldn't prove it was flat either, and my whole perspective changed. That was the trigger for me that I was speaking about. That's when the stars jumped out at me and were trying to communicate with me, or the universe was trying to communicate with me, or the multiverse was trying to communicate with me, or whatever. That's why I, really understand the stars more as, to me, intelligent beings. More an intelligent being is behind them. But I didn't mention that. I forgot, and then I thought, let me just leave it out. Sounds a little kooky. Go figure. Right from the beginning, I've been saying it's about what's in your perception, and I believe that's, the direction I'm going. I'm going to experience life. I came across a video where a gentleman said he was going to take a break for a few weeks. It's been 2 or 3 now since that video went up. I'm going to link it. It had some good info in it. It had some good insight in it. I'd say it was a little bit more religious, but I don't think he went too far on anything. I enjoyed it. I kind of understood his points, but I tried to do the same thing with Facebook. I tried to get rid of Facebook, and I go back every once in a while and check it out. So I'm not saying I'm putting this down, but I think there's something to this as far as YouTube being a part of the system. It's definitely helping us, and it's definitely helping us grow. But I don't believe I'll post as often. I'm going to try and just put it down and experience what's around me and the perceptions that I'm having, rather than making my perception part of YouTube. Excuse me. Flat Earth, I'm kind of over it. I mention it to people. I'll bring up a couple Mandela effects to have them, raise their eyebrows and go, whoa, and then they start having dual memories and remembering both things, and they can't explain it. And I bring up Flat Earth, because the idea truly is to change your perception, change your belief system. Beliefs can be changed. Change it. Once you change it, things start to change and happen around you. That's what the Mandela effect and Flat Earth are for, in my opinion. That's what they were given to us for, to help us change our perception. To get up in arms about, I've been through that a million times, we're not fighting anybody. But just change your perception, that's what it's been. All right, so I went looking for the one book that I documented everything in, and I found this is the first book I started documenting in. I couldn't find the other one. I'm sure I will. So I just packed it away somewhere. And what I did is I actually wrote down, there's almost 400 changes that I've found. I didn't agree with all of them, but other people, you know, put stuff in here. Some things, like Desi Arnaz, the spelling of his last name's changed. I didn't know that one way or the other. I didn't know who Andrew Zimmerman is, and if his name changed to Zimmern, Smokey the Bear, or Smokey Bear. Alex Trebek, with it ending in an no, I'm sorry, Alex Trebek or Alec Trebek. But this is just some of the things I started writing down. And I found this thing right in the beginning. And this must have been about 2 months after I started having all these experiences. And I have been coming across some that I'm realizing, wow, that'll be neat to put on YouTube. I'm going to read this. And it's strange to me that I picked this up back in last September, October, probably October. Yet I've said these things all along, periodically, sporadically. All right, this is what I wrote down. To change your perception of the world around you and you, it is necessary to research something you believe is impossible, that others know is possible and true. I almost want to rethink that. Example, I believe the earth is more flattish than globular. After researching the topic, I realized that there are some very intriguing facts that prove the earth is not a globe. But they didn't prove to me that it was flat either. The point is, there are several people who believe the earth is flat and who won't stop until everyone believes it too. That's the trap. It's not a matter of whether or not the earth is a globe or a pancake. The key is to realize it is not important what you believe or what the truth is. You don't have to be right. Once you get the point of surrender, detach from beliefs and become neutral and start to notice the world around you like it is the first time. When you begin to see things change, it can be a frightening experience, but it doesn't have to be. See, I see these thoughts, they're just coming in, and I would just write them down. When your awakening begins, you will go through pain, fear, joy, and happiness. This will last as long as the individual needs it to last. The question you will have will not be the answer. The questions you have will not be answered by anyone outside of yourself, even those who can explain to you what is actually happening. There is nothing to fear. You will come out of the confusion by letting go of everything that does not serve you. You will have more questions, and you will be amazed at how effortlessly the answers come. You will be in slight shock when you see items disappear and reappear, brand names change, colors change, and so on. Walk through this fear and turn it into excitement. For you are breaking down the walls of illusion. You begin to see things as they really are. Take this and be compassionate to everything around you without attachment. Be neutral and observe the world around you as for the first time. You then may see the stars shine for you. Well, I know what happened right before this. And I just get into all the different effects. See, some of these I don't understand. I just remember other people talking about them or mentioning them, and I would just write them down. How the word volume was spelled. There's two different ways, apparently. Okay, good enough for now. I've been thinking about not posting as much, trying to get my ideas out there. I'm going to go ahead and locate the book that I wrote things down in last August, September, October. And if I see any interesting stories in there, I'll go ahead and post them. Anything happens now, I'll post. but I'm experiencing life in a different way now. You know, I may not be making as much money as I was before, but I'm freer, I'm happier. Plus all this knowledge that I've come across, everything's a lot different. Things are shaping up my way because I believe I am the creator of my reality. And if we are all in our own little dimension or our own dimension from what we can perceive, then we can create whatever's going on around us, period. You know, to say I am God and I am the creator, you know, that's a little, I don't know, I'm sure there's plenty of words for that. But if I'm the only one that is truly conscious in this dimension, no matter how close the other people are consciously in their dimensions to mine, I am still the creator of my dimension. I mean, I've been having conversations with people where I'm talking and, you know, I understand that people don't listen and just talk about what they want to talk about. But the responses I'm getting sometimes, and I'm not even talking about flat earth or Mandela effects or time loops or anything else, they're just answering me like I said something completely different. You know, so they're in their own little dimension and experiencing their own thing. As am I, as are you, we all are. You know, so I'm thinking, you know, when, you know, we're not really manipulating anything, we're not controlling anything, but we're using it to our benefit for our experience because this is our own personal dimension. It's down here. So if we're all creating our own little dimensions and our own little realities, that's something else I wanted to bring up. And I think I wrote this down somewhere. We are in our own dimensions. Okay, we have dimensions. And when we have a jump and we notice a Mandela effect, we're jumping on another timeline. But everybody's been talking as that's we're just jumping into another dimension. It's true, we are. But for your own personal reality, you're just jumping on another timeline. Same dimensions. It's all terminology. And Michaela was right. It's all the same, just different terminology. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been deliberately creating my life. Deliberately going out of my way to do things. If I think about something, I just do it. I figure I shifted into another direction, another timeline, dimension, whatever. And I do things from a perspective of like goodness, happiness, joy, love. And I see the people around me, boy, they have their problems. I mean, they got this issue going on, that issue going on. It's amazing. And you know, the one person said to me, how can you sit there and listen to that story and just not have any emotion about it at all? I said, look, I'm not getting involved. I'm not going to here's a good word for this. I'm not going to jeopardize my feelings, my happiness over somebody else who is just trying to suck up my energy. Look, I'll do everything I can for this person. You know, I did everything I could that was within my power to help this person out. But to sit there and wallow over it and cry over it, it's just not, I'm sorry, I've been through those things. You know, this person will be fine. Why bother? This is nice. I didn't fall. I came out to a nice little area here. See, I'm honestly not being cold or heartless. You know, I'm doing what I can for, you know, somebody who's in need. But to get emotionally involved, I don't see the point. So I am deliberately creating my reality now on purpose. Even when I'm not sure. Today I just got in the car and started driving. YouTube will still be a part of my little dimensional bubble to try and help people and maybe get them to do the same thing. You know, do it on their own. Figure out what it is they want in life and do it. Because that's what I'm doing. And hopefully, you know, I absolutely, not even hopefully, I totally know that one day I'll get on here and I'll explain what I wanted and what I have. I don't know how much detail, but right now I know I have what I want in this moment. And it's absolutely incredible. Look at those trees. I really think I'm onto something. This is my own personal little dimension. And it just feels right. It feels like this is the direction we're all kind of going in. And it's the way it's always been. And we're just becoming aware of it now. There are no ugly people in my dimension. It's amazing. Everybody's beautiful.